program was pre-recorded.
You've entered the Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher, political analyst and socio-political prophet, and Kevin Gallagher, TV and podcast host and opinionated jackhole. So settle in, grab a beverage. It's time to talk some politics. It's Fletch Nation. Now here are the boys.
Well, hello there.
Well, that was a feedback.
Welcome to another Fletch Nation. We're coming at you from the state capital, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Old School Barbecue at 10655 Coursey Boulevard.
Well, Kevin?
Hi, how are you, Roy?
Got the phone ringing for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the president.
See, now if that's you ringing, keep letting it ring.
Keep calling in.
We'll get one of our staff to pick up that phone and take your donation.
Our check people. Yeah, that's it. Our check people.
It's the telethon.
That's what it is, yeah. This is my law office. Call my law office. It's the same number.
It's been a very interesting week for politics, both nationally and across the state, and since last we met.
Kevin, it's been crazy. That's what it's just been insane.
So,
fascinating.
What's top of your mind today?
Fascinating. Well, I was trying to decide whether I wanted to start with the testimony of the young lady yesterday at the January 6th committee. I will put that off a minute.
Okay.
But
we'll stick a pin in that one and come back.
We'll come back to that in a second because it fits in. So what I want to start with now is the primaries that occurred last night.
Yeah.
I think they're interesting. I really do. And I said last week that I wanted to talk about the Democrats this week, and I do because I think they're just as fascinating in some ways, as the Republicans are, in terms of what the future for our country entails. The Democrats are in a battle between the progressives and sort of the liberals, I would call it that. And the progressives, the AOC wing or the AOC feather, the squad feather, versus sort of the Joe Bidens, so on and so forth. Well, last night in Illinois, we had a primary in the 7th Congressional District of Illinois, where Congressman Davis, a longtime congressman, 80 years old, had been there a long, long time, took on a woman named Kia Collins. Kia Collins had ran before and had been summarily beaten by Mr. Davis about 2 years ago. This time she ran again, and she had as much money as he did, and she really put on a campaign. What made that campaign important was that she was the real progressive in the district. She was the real progressive in the race. And Davis was sort of the institutional kind of liberal Democrat, both African American, I believe. And Joe Biden had to come into that district about 5 days before the election and endorse Davis and make a big deal out of it. He pushed him over. He barely won, but he pushed him over. But it's interesting that probably one of the few districts in the country that Joe Biden could go to and influence people would be this kind of district. And he influenced them not toward the progressive wing of the party, but rather toward the more established status quo wing of the party. So that's a good way to put it. I like that. There were other races in Illinois that demonstrated this too. In the 3rd district, I believe, a woman named Ramirez and Villegas were in an election for Congress, and Ramirez was the progressive in that race. Obviously, a very Hispanic district, and Ramirez won. She beat sort of the institutional kind of Democrat in that race. And in the 6th district of Illinois, a fellow named Caston versus Newman, a woman named, the woman was, they were both members of the House, and so they were having to run against each other because of reapportionment. And good Lord have mercy, the woman was the progressive. She'd been endorsed by Sanders and I think AOC, and she was a big Green New Deal person and so on and so on. but she lost. She lost. So
she had the squad endorsement and she lost.
She lost. Yeah, I think that what we're seeing is that some places, in the first time this happened was in, I believe, Oregon. There was a woman out there that ran against an incumbent who was sort of more institutional, status quo Democrat. And this woman, and I forget her name now, in fact, I forget the race, but this woman won the race pretty handedly against the state. And that was the first time we saw one of these progressives really pop up and win a race. But they are winning races. They're not winning like they would like to win. Clearly, they are becoming a wing of the party, not just a feather. And I think that's what these things show.
But my curiosity asked me how long before there is an outright war to wrest control of the Democrat Party.
Well, I think that comes. That's a really good question too. I think that comes the closer we get to 2024, because I think that there's going to be a real fight in the Democratic Party from the progressive wing against Joe Biden. They're all mouthing, "Oh no, we're with Joe right now," but I don't think that's the way it's going to be when the time comes. Particularly if Biden continues to decline in health and so on and so forth, his capabilities. I think that they will light him up pretty heavily in 2024.
Will they primary him?
Yeah, I think so. I really do. I'm beginning to believe that, that you just can't keep an octogenarian down, Bernie, or whoever it might be. But at least in his case, I just think that they will, in fact, primary Joe Biden if he's still around. I don't think he'll be around. So that means Kamala Harris will be, and I think the progressive wing of the party will primary her too. I really do. I think there's a fight coming in the Democratic Party.
Well, and I don't.
And particularly I'm not going to say as the economy declines and things go bad.
I'm not saying this just to bash the vice president, but forget conservatives, forget Republicans. She hasn't shown her own party anything while she's had this office, the number 2 job in America, and she really hasn't shown even Democrats that she's got anything.
No, and I kind of agree with that, and that's of course assuming that Biden's shown anybody anything.
Good point.
But that tends to be. Now, one of the things that I've heard, and as I've gone about since our show's gone on TV, one of the things that I've been asked a lot about is what happens with Roe v. Wade as it relates to turnout come the fall in the midterm.
Good question.
And people are very interested in that. And I want to try to tackle that a little bit today. And when we come back in the next segment, I want to deal with that. And then I want to deal with a couple of other primary victories last night, and where Donald Trump fell out last night in terms of the people he endorsed and where they ended up. And we'll be back in a minute to do that.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back. It's Fletch Nation. He is Roy Fletcher. And I'm Kevin Gallagher. Yeah, all day long.
Yeah, man, that's nice, Kevin. So let's. So I want to deal with. I want to deal with this sort of what happened in Illinois because it's in the governor's race because it's really fascinating. The Republicans had a guy. I think he was the mayor of Aurora, Illinois. Very moderate, but really a real electable guy. I can't remember his name. Irvin was his name, and he and the Democrats were very worried about this guy in Illinois. In this year, yeah, they better be. And so what they did was he was running against a state senator who was a little more rough around the edges and much more, as they would say, MAGA. Okay, much more MAGA. And was endorsed by Trump. Well, what the Democrats did was they put about $10 million into that race, into the Republican primary, attacking the mayor from Aurora, Illinois, in order to get the state senator in the runoff, the MAGA candidate, which they thought would be easier to beat. Totally legal, totally probably unethical, but I kind of like it myself. You know,
I've always said that one thing I love about Democrats is they always let you know right up front what scares them.
That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, they were very
easily to see what scares them.
They were very clear about this. That candidate, the Irvin guy, Irvin or whatever, they did not want him to be in that general election, and did everything they could to stop it.
Now, help me out. Is this election in Illinois, governor's election, is this wide open this year? I mean, or is this an
I think it is wide open. I think that's right. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's right. The point of it is, though, is the machinations and the manipulation of the system that was going on up there. And by the way, the Democrats did that in several other races too. I don't have all the information on it, so I won't get into it. But they did it everywhere they possibly could, where they thought that they could force a MAGA candidate into the general election, and it would be easier for them to save a seat or a governorship or whatever the case may be. Now that brings us to the Trump thing, which you see I'm leading to January 6th, right?
Well, again, we're talking about machinations and
yes, we are.
Theater.
We are doing that, Kevin. Trump won with that governor in Illinois, the one I was just telling you about, and then he And then he endorsed, there was a member-to-member campaign in the 15th of Illinois between Mary Miller and Rodney Davis. Well, Davis had kind of voted a little bit against Trump's interest. Miller had stuck right with him. Trump goes in at the end, endorses Miller, and she wins. So there's two of them in Illinois. He won. And then he won a lot last night in races where there really wasn't a question about. Okay, so overall, Donald Trump had a good night after a really bad day. And there we shall go to January 6th, okay? The committee, folks, in case there might be 2 or 3 people that watch this show, that watch that committee here, or there may be only 2 or 3 people watching both. I don't care.
Well,
but the point,
let's hope not.
No, but whatever. But the point is, I'm making a joke. But the point is that last week, and I want to go ahead and beat the drum a little bit. Last week I said that committee was about something far different than what people might have thought it was about. It wasn't about finding truth. I said what it was about was to try to make it clear that Donald Trump's toxicity, personality, so on and so forth, makes him unacceptable to be a president of the United States. That's what they're up to, so that he can't be a candidate, a viable candidate in 2024. That's what they're up to.
What about this woman Hutchinson?
So yesterday, Cassidy Hutchinson, a woman with obviously credentials and obviously talented person. I'm not saying anything about that. But what she testified to was it was really inside. She was inside. She heard the stuff, or at least that's what she said. And so she told the committee all of this about the Secret Service, Trump attacking the Secret Service guy, Trump wanting to go down there with the people. There were guns there, AR-15s. She went through a litany of things. So we'll go back through them as we want to. But here's the important part. One is that it got a lot of headlines. Okay?
Of course it did.
Okay, so the committee got what they wanted out of it. That's number one. Number two is that it really reflected poorly on the president, if you believe everything she said.
Yep, and I know people that do.
I do too. And by the way, I think that as a general rule, I know that she didn't tell the truth on everything. Let's assume that for a moment. But as a general rule, what she did yesterday was hurt the former president of the United States, and hurt him badly. She cut him hard yesterday. And just because it's hearsay and there's no cross-examination, that's the way grand juries work. Prosecutors they get to say what they have to say, and then the prosecutor decides if they want to use that. Well, yesterday, what they saw was a grand jury being panel, essentially the proceedings of the grand jury, as she said what she had to say, with no cross-examination or anything else. And while it may not lead to a conviction, it certainly could lead to an indictment, and clearly a political indictment of his potential, of his personality, again, of his toxicity. That's what they're about. Okay, and that's the game that was played.
So
yesterday.
the message is Trump is bad.
Orange man bad. Yes, orange man bad. Orange man crazy. Can't be president. Look somewhere else. That's what that was about yesterday. And then we now know that the pushback is, wait a minute, she kind of maybe lied.
Maybe.
Okay, that's the pushback.
Maybe.
Okay,
we're going to look at...
we're going to talk about that just a little bit.
Maybe just a little lie. Maybe.
Lie.
When we come back with Fletch Nation, stay there.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The Mazda CX-50. Confident on- and off-road performance and intelligently designed utility inside and out.
The all-new Mazda CX-50 has arrived and is on sale right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Fletch Nation's back, and we've been talking a little bit about the January 6th committee.
J6.
The J6 committee hearings to get to the bottom of the insurrection.
Get to the bottom of Donald Trump's insanity.
This woman, what was her name? Cassidy Hutchinson, was that her name?
Cassidy.
Her testimony was strained credibility in my opinion.
Well, it was very compelling.
Well, sure. I'm sure there were people sitting there doing this while they were listening to it.
No, there were millions doing that if they were watching.
Yeah.
Okay. But she had problems with the facts, apparently. She claimed that the president had tried to strangle the Secret Service in the Beast, the car.
Yeah.
Actually, it was the SUV.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe the car is called the Beast and the SUV is called something else. I don't know. But anyway, that he tried to strangle the Secret Service person because he wouldn't take him on. The Secret Service wouldn't take him to the Capitol after he made his speech that day. And now the Secret Service is saying, no, that didn't happen. And we want to testify to the committee that it didn't happen. And kind of get yourself under control, young lady. Then she testified that she was testifying that there were guns at the rally where Trump spoke. AR-15s. Yeah, and that they wouldn't come in because they didn't want to be searched. And I'm thinking, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. The Secret Service of the United States would not have allowed the president to get up there to speak. I don't care who he was, even Joe Biden, if there would have been people out there with AR-15s.
Anybody out there with a long rifle. period.
Now, you say something else I think is even more impressive.
If there had been men at the Washington Monument on January 6th with long rifles, as Ms. Hutchinson asserts, the media would have been all over that.
Absolutely.
And there were cameras there.
Absolutely.
And it would have been, oh my God, look, we got nuts with guns at the Trump rally.
That's exactly right. Let's ban these things. So then she noted that she was asked about a note that she had. She said, yes, I wrote this note, and it said it was something that basically shut this thing down, whatever the case may be. She said, yeah, I wrote that note for the Mike Meadows, dictated it to me. She was Mike Meadows, the chief of staff's assistant. Well, that's what she said. Well, not 5 minutes after she said it, former general counsel to the White House, Eric, can't think of his last name, but he said, no, I wrote that note. And the law enforcement and everybody in that room, as well as law enforcement, knows that I wrote that note. Now, be that as it may, that's the fight over the note. The contents of the note, however, that did not get said was pretty compelling in the sense that it was shut this stuff down and y'all don't do this. And whoever wrote the note doesn't, ultimately she fibbed about it, but the fact is the note was compelling in and of itself. And this morning I saw Stephanie, last names, she was the chief of staff to Melania Trump. And she sent Melania Trump a text that said, don't you want to say right now you need to do this peacefully, you need to do this properly, you need to do that? And Melania Trump sent her back a text that said, no. Period. That was the answer to it. Don't know why. I guess Ms. Trump, I don't know why she was doing that or whatever the case may be. But it's another little piece of stuff along the way that is indicative of what they're now. I think they're trying to build a case now. I think that something happened yesterday. We went from destroy Trump to let's indict Trump. Something went on yesterday.
Garland's on the job now.
Yeah, I think so. I just think there's something. I think this testimony to come gives them a feeling on that committee that maybe they can indict Trump.
So in our previous segment, you likened the J6 committee to a grand jury.
Yes.
And it sounds very much like a grand jury to me. We just throw the information out there with no cross-examination.
It's beginning to feel a lot like a grand jury.
And
it's not a big Christmas song, but you know what I mean.
Somebody might come away thinking, I need to indict.
Yeah, like the Justice Department, or maybe somebody down in Atlanta, or whatever the case may be, on that case in Georgia, or whatever. So I think that's what's going on there.
Roy, at this point, I just wondered, should the man even consider running for president again in 24, or should he just act as a lightning rod for the conservative movement and help others get elected?
Well, you're asking, and I'll say, I don't think he should run. I don't think Donald Trump should. I think DeSantis in Florida has built a record of substantial record, and I have always been a big Trump guy. So please don't get mad at me for saying it. But I think that you're going to have to recognize that fluffy middle, that soft middle. We're going to have to win some of those votes in order to win this presidency back. And if you don't think it's important to win it back, go check inflation, go check job numbers, go check everything. Go check the border, check whatever you want to check. That's the way it is.
We're going to take a break here in about a minute and ask the guy with the leaf blower to go away while we do a television program.
You think?
Oh my God.
Kevin?
I want to say this. Here's what I like. Here's the ticket I think is going to be good for the GOP in 24. Ron DeSantis, Kristi Noem. Boom.
Well, I don't know.
Except that 2 states will lose their governor. And good governors.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think DeSantis is the one. I think there are other people that want to be. I mean, I think Ted Cruz is going to be a candidate. And I don't think he can win.
I don't think America will ever elect Ted Cruz.
No, I don't
president.
either. But the point of it is that I think it'll be fought out. And if Trump gets out, I think it will be fought out. But all he has to do, and going through his endorsements are clear to me, he just has to put sort of the good housekeeping insignia on somebody, and it'll be okay. And I think DeSantis is probably that person. Now, when we come back, what I want to talk about is that since we're talking about 2024 and this fall, what I want to talk about is the impact of Roe v. Wade as it relates to these elections. And I don't know that I have a measure yet, but I think that we're starting to get a little bit of idea, and that we do that when we come back.
All right, we're going to take a quick pause. You grab a beverage if you need one. I'm going to get a refill. We'll see you back on the other side with more Fletch Nation right here. Pelican Broadcasting.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Gallagher High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Hey, glad to have you watching us on Pelican Broadcasting, one of the fine cable systems.
And while
across
you're
South
watching
Louisiana.
us, we're watching something else that is about the 53 migrants who were killed in the back of a truck, just fried, basically.
Yeah, baked.
And we saw a statement by the President of the United States saying they're doing everything they can to stop smugglers and so on and so forth. That is a complete lie. If they wanted to do anything, everything, they should have built a wall. But you know what? That'll be an issue for another day. We'll talk about. What I want to talk about right now, I want to talk about what is the deal with Roe v. Wade as it relates to turnout? And what can we expect? Is this going to change the elections? And what we're finding is that the GOP put out, they did an internal memo from polling data that they had, and they found out that the Roe v. Wade issue, and that could be either side on this thing, right? Mm-hmm. Could be pro-choice, pro-life, whatever the case may be. What they found out was it's polling at about 8%, and inflation and the economy is polling at about 40%, and in jobs it's polling, not far back. The whole point of it is like we said last week, and Carville said 30 years ago, it's the economy, stupid. And that's where we are, and there's going to be now, I don't say that there won't be in marginal races where they're very close, that the Roe v. Wade issue may not be necessary to turn out maybe an extra 0.3% that would nudge it over toward the Democrats. Mm-hmm. That may be. Or the other side may be just as applicable. That may be. What we do know, the Rasmussen, that we've seen these polls, Maris and a couple other polls saying, oh no, there's 56% of the public that do not like the opinion of the Supreme Court. Well, that's a poll of everybody in America, the population. The poll of likely voters in America says that Rasmussen says that 50%, this was yesterday, says that 50% of the public, of likely voters in America, agree with the decision of the court. They support the decision, and 38% disagree. That's what they found in their polling data. So if that's the case, and just make a point, if that's the case, I don't see this great tsunami of pro-choicers deciding elections in the United States. I looked last night on the Cook report, and I was checking it out because we've heard these estimates of 50 to 60 seats could switch, and I don't believe that. And I've said last week I thought it would be around 25 to 35 somewhere in it. Okay.
And I don't believe it's going to be a huge red wave.
No, I don't. I think it'll be a wave, but it won't be that kind of wave. But last night I was looking at the Cook report. They had changed 8 seats. 6 of them had gone to lean Republican, 2 lean Democrat. But what they're projecting is anywhere from 22 to 35, which is pretty much where my head's been the whole time. That's enough. That's plenty enough. The question again comes down to the United States Senate and what happens there. And I don't know, that's a
thought just occurred to me I wanted to get your opinion of.
Yeah.
Are these going to come down to, if these seats are lost, if these Democrat seats are lost, are those going to be in the more rural, less metropolitan districts?
It depends, but you could say that, but I don't think that's the case. I think the fight is in the suburbs, okay? And it's kind of the suburban districts around the country, where you have an amalgamation of people that have different views, mm-hmm. that are relatively affluent, that women are very protective of this what they perceive to be a right. The court said there wasn't a right, but I'm going to say it their way. I'm going to say what they perceive to be a right. And the question becomes, what happens to those suburban women? That's kind of what the real question is here. 2 things. What happens to the suburban women, and what happens to Hispanic voters? Okay? Those are kind of the 2 things that we're dealing with now. And because we know rural will be Republican, rural white. We know that African Americans will be Democrat. So the question becomes about these suburban whites, particularly suburban white women. Mm-hmm. Suburban white men have pretty well decided they're Republican. Now, I don't know if this will change Roe v. Wade, but it doesn't look like it's going to change. And what we find out is that once people hear that the states get to make those decisions, it sort of mitigates some of this, well, I don't have the right. Well, no, the state grants you that right, not the federal government. That's kind of the way that they're looking at it.
Well, look at how it's been 2 weeks now, and there's still so many people walking around that think that what the Supreme Court did was make abortions against the law everywhere.
That's right. That's right.
That's how uninformed. I don't say ignorant. That's kind of rude, but uninformed the American voters are.
But you got to hear them, and the people that we're talking about don't hear it that way. What they hear is the right itself has been taken away, and then they learn that that's not necessarily true. It depends on your state. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of, but yeah, I mean, they are speaking to a right that they think has been taken away. Of course, the answer to that is that the court said there was never a right. It was decided incorrectly, that there was never a right, and when an enumerated, if the right is not enumerated in the Constitution, it flows back to the states to make the decisions with respect to all that. And that's what's happened. That's exactly what's happened.
Well, I know.
So I don't see that. I do see, just real quick one, I do see that this whole notion of MAGA is real, is still there, is still a message. It deals with globalism. It deals with large corporations controlling people. It deals with big government controlling people. And big, essentially, is bad. And that's going to be a real message. That's going to be a real message in the fall. Whoever delivers that will be interesting to find out. You know?
Time to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. We're going to hear some good words from Coastal Attorney John Carmouche, too, when we return with Fletch Nation right here on Pelican Broadcasting. Find us on YouTube, by the way, youtube.com.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Oh, look at this lovely, I got what they call a po' boy here. from Old School Barbecue.
Old School Barbecue.
We do the show at Old School Barbecue at 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We appreciate their hospitality. And
I came over here Saturday and bought so much stuff to feed my daughter and her family and her son-in-law. It was great. It's the same thing.
You got your little brisket sandwich?
Yeah, I got a brisket sandwich. Brisket pulled pork. But you know what? Those beans, they're to die for.
The bourbon baked beans.
They're unbelievable.
Homemade barbecue sauce.
Homemade
Barbecue sauce.
Sir.
They don't get this out of a bottle.
It's old school here.
They brew it up.
This old school, isn't it?
Yep. So come on by and pass a good time.
I love doing a commercial for them. It's kind of fun.
Tell them Fletch sent you.
Yeah. And if you don't tell them that, tell them Kevin sent you.
But as always, we appreciate your hospitality. And,
yeah. So what we're going to do in the last segment here is when we go away, we're going to replay John Carmouche's interview that I had, because I've got a lot of people interested in what he had to say that deals with the coastal part of Louisiana and also deals with sort of his background and why he's so interested in it. A really fine environmental coastal lawyer, land lawyer in Louisiana, and has been really good to us over the years, and I love interviewing John. He's a good guy.
Well, then let's go to John Carmouche with Roy Fletcher right now.
For those of you on the radio that listen to us on the radio and those now seeing us on TV, we're going to start a new little series today with John Carmouche, an old friend of mine who I've done work for, who's an environmental lawyer, attorney here in the state of Louisiana, and in particular as it relates to our coast, our land, and our water, and the cleanup of our coast, land, and water. John, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you for having me.
You have made a name for yourself in environmental law and litigation and so on and so forth. Tell us about your past and where you came from and what sort of sparked this interest.
Well, I'm from Napoleonville, Louisiana, born and raised. Then I went to E.D. White High School in Thibodaux. But my whole life, since I was a child, I've enjoyed the outdoors of Louisiana. And it kind of brings back old memories and brings back thinking about my papa and my uncles, and who would gather every Sunday for a dove hunt and a quail hunt. And there's everything you can do in Louisiana. That's why it's so precious and we have to protect it. You have dove hunting, quail hunting, rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting, deer hunting, hog hunting. It's all here.
Duck hunting?
It's all duck hunting.
Yeah.
It's all here. And if we don't protect it, and I'm watching the town I grew up in, Napoleonville, it's not the same. And it's because of what has happened on the coast. And we're watching things happen in our lifetime that is not going to be good for the future.
We're going to let me ask you this, rather than go to the where you went to school and that sort of thing. Tell us what's happened way down there on the coast. I mean, has there been literally physical changes to what land is left and that sort of thing? What do you see down there?
Roy, the biggest thing that we have done is collected aerial photography from the 1920s and 30s. And it is a dramatic change. We are losing hundreds of miles of land and marsh, precious of Louisiana, that protects not only the coastline, but it also protects upland.
Yes.
So it's a barrier. And those people's lives have changed. I mean, if you think back to the 1960s and 70s and you look at what happened then and how they lived and the prosperity they had to now, I mean, they've lost a lot.
Yes.
And they've had to move.
Yes.
And frankly, we've lost good citizens of Louisiana to other states because they've had to move.
And we have an exodus problem anyway. So when a fisherman or people in the fishing business go into those marshes and those kind of things, what do they see that's changed dramatically in those marshes? I mean, if they punch the ground, 2 or 3 feet down in the water, what happens?
Well, punched the ground where they had an old pit, because now you can't see the pit, so what happened was the oil companies dumped their waste into the marsh rather than injecting it down where you couldn't see it below the land. So they dump this waste into the marsh. You take a pole, you scrape the bottom, and an oil sheen comes up. It looks like almost a BP oil spill in the marsh.
Wow.
And now these people, these fishermen, are seeing nothing but water. There is no more land. There's no more marsh. So not only do you see that, but you have old pipes, you have old wells that these regular recreational fishermen are having to deal with every day.
So those are the things that you bring litigation on, correct? To try to address and solve, correct? Or remediate.
The litigation is specifically to provable damages caused by the oil industry. Nothing more, nothing less. We have pinpointed exactly what the oil companies have caused, and we're only suing to restore to its natural state Louisiana's coast that was caused by the oil companies. That's what the lawsuit's about.
Now, you know, we have this thing going on in Europe right now, and the price of gas and the price of oil is jumping like crazy. How does, I mean, and I assume that that's going to continue because of the nature of, it was already jumped to $90 a barrel, and so it'd probably go to 120, maybe 150 now. So how does this affect Louisiana? I mean, what can you do? What do you have a program that not only deals with the litigation but deals with the economic future?
Since the beginning of the litigation, I'm a Republican who believes in bringing back jobs to Louisiana, and from the beginning, we need the oil industry. We need a balance.
So you're not against drilling?
No, I want drilling, and I think this is the opportunity for Louisiana to drill. We need to have a clean slate. We need to clean up the environment so oil companies can come in and operate and not be liable for what happened in the past. Let's open up Louisiana for business. The coast is open. Let's settle these lawsuits and open up the coast, and we'll have more jobs and more economic development in the coast than we've ever seen.
It's fascinating. Last thing I want to ask you, I got off on all that and didn't. Tell us a little bit about your education quickly.
I went to Catholic school in Prankerville, Louisiana, St. Elizabeth till 8th grade. Then I went to E.D. White Catholic School, and then LSU undergrad, graduated in business, and then I went to Loyola Law School in New Orleans.
Oh, you do more than just law business, though, right? I mean, you're in other businesses and enterprises, correct?
I do real estate business. I have a bunch of friends that I have teamed up with to do some type of economic development in different areas of the state, where we try to go in and develop to create jobs in other parts of the state.
Okay. John Carmouche is going to be back on a regular basis, we hope, in the coming days. But we thank you, John.
Thank you, Roy. Appreciate it.
I'm telling you, man, every time I hear that man talk, I'm thinking,
smart guy.
Yep, he's on to something.
Every time I taste his food, I like it better. And it's great. So I just keep liking it.
Yep, I put away half of this pulled pork po' boy.
You know, the thing about what John's talking about, one thing I'll say about it, the whole Ukrainian thing has a direct impact on this. Because, you know, in case anybody hadn't noticed, the Russians are kind of doing better over there. Mm-hmm. A lot better.
Yeah, I thought this whole Ukraine thing was supposed to bring about their economic collapse.
Yeah, well, it didn't. Now they're cutting off the gold to them, and supposedly they're going bankrupt or something. But the fact is that the Russians are in that war. The question is, what if they do really good? What happens to the world at that point? Mm-hmm. And what happens to imports and exports and so on and so forth of oil? Mm-hmm. And by the way, speaking of oil, the president went to see Saudi Arabia. And Macron basically had to tell our president, hey, quit asking them for oil. They're pumping all they can. And so the word was from Macron to the president via, the head man in Saudi Arabia, there will be no more oil.
Wow.
Yeah. So the pressure builds for the Biden administration to have to drill. And if the pressure builds to drill, then the pressure is going to build that you drill safely and you drill properly and you return the earth, what you deal with, back to its original state as close as possible. And that's what our coastline and the fight over our coast is all about. That's what it's about. That's what Cormosh is talking about.
As we've said so many times, it's like nobody minds if you want to, drill and get some oil and gas. Just clean up your mess when you're done. Just clean up your mess.
Clean it up. And and for the things that have happened that are really bad, clean those up. Let's get this over with, and then we can go to a place where there is no more liability, and you can drill you can drill what you want as long as you're drilling it properly. That's it.
I'm going to say something that may shock you a little bit because there's one of the more recent points that our president made about the high gasoline prices, and I agree with it.
Yes.
He wants to hang this now on domestic oil companies.
That's right.
But other countries are paying as much or more for their gas as we're paying for ours.
More?
Okay. Yeah, more in a lot of cases. But he made the point, he says, the per barrel price of oil has been this high before, and the gasoline did not go this high before.
That's right.
And that's the whole basis of his argument. It's a simple argument, but that's the basis of his argument, saying somebody's making some pretty huge profits. So you're making the profits, spend the money in the right way.
Yeah, I think they're making the profit. No question about that. But do I begrudge that profit in the sense that no, I don't. As long as it's reinvested in America, it's reinvested in oil and gas and getting the things done.
Agreed.
That's the whole point of this oil and gas debate, it seems to me. And mainly one thing is clean up Louisiana. Because you had a really good party here. You have it for a long time. Now just clean it up and let's get on with the program. But don't deny what's happened. That's the whole point. Let's just clean it up and then get on with the program. And that's what these.
Everybody likes to shift the blame, though. It's like.
Well, yeah, everybody does like to shift the blame. But the truth is that in this situation, if they would allow drilling in the United States and get out of the way, the United States could drop, the United States oil industry could drop this inflation rate to about 4% in about a year by producing oil.
Yep.
That's what could happen.
But also federal authorities need to open up the flood gap, start letting those drilling permits go,
get out
let
of
some
the
drilling
way.
happen.
Get out of the way. That's the whole point.
Well, our time is up. Once again, we want to thank you so much for whether you're listening to us on one of the fine radio stations.
This food is unbelievable.
It really, really is. That's
Old School Barbecue over on Carsey.
Carsey Boulevard, just a short drive off Interstate 12 and Airline Highway. We appreciate you come on by, and when you do, tell them Roy Fletcher sent you.
And we appreciate you watching and listening and hanging in there with us. And we're going to get better. Thank you.
We'll see you next week. Take care. I need a sandwich.
You've been listening to Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher and Kevin Gallagher. Remember, if you heard something that ticked you off, upset your sensibilities, or threatened your precious safe space,
the opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are purely their own and do not reflect those of this radio station or its advertisers.
So if you're calling a lawyer, or planning a boycott, or a cancel campaign, forget about it and join us next week for more Fletch Nation.